All right, let's talk about becoming a web developer in 2026. You know that feeling, right? You look up a learning roadmap and your brain just shuts down. It's just so much information. Well, you are not alone in feeling that way. The industry moves incredibly fast, and that's exactly why we're here, to give you a clear, honest, and actually human guide forward. So let's just dive right in.
Does this feel a little familiar? You've got like a dozen browser tabs open. One's a tutorial, another is some framework that's supposedly the next big thing, and a third is just a giant list of 100 different technologies you're supposed to learn. It feels like the tech stacks change every other week, and it's so easy to feel like you're already behind before you've even started.
And now, on top of all that, there's this new anxiety in the air: artificial intelligence. I mean, everyone's asking the big question, right? Are tools like GitHub Copilot and ChatGPT going to make developers obsolete? And you know what? It's a totally valid concern. AI is already writing code, building out app structures, and even reviewing pull requests.
But here's the shift in thinking, the really crucial point. AI isn't your replacement. It's your most powerful new tool. Seriously, it handles all the boring, repetitive stuff, which frees you up to focus on the things that really matter: the architecture, the user experience, the creative problem solving. AI doesn't just make developers, it amplifies them. It makes great developers even better.
And this brings us to why 2026 is such a pivotal and honestly a really exciting time to be learning this stuff. The game hasn't ended, not at all. The rules have just changed. Yeah, the bar for entry might be a little higher now, but the ceiling for what you can actually build and achieve, it has absolutely exploded. And the demand? It is not slowing down. The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics is projecting a 23% job growth for web developers all the way through 2028. To put that in perspective, that is way faster than the average for all other jobs. The opportunities are real, and believe me, they are growing.
So before we jump into this step-by-step plan, it's really important we understand the world we're stepping into. Let's take a quick look at the major trends shaping how modern web apps get built, because this is the why behind every single thing we're about to cover.
Okay, let's break these down real quick. First, development is now AI first. That means AI assistants are your co-pilot, not some little gimmick. Second, it's server first, which means we're moving more logic to the server to make apps feel insanely fast. We're also building for the edge, deploying code all over the world so it's physically close to every user. Then you've got PWAs, which totally blur the line between a website and a mobile app. And finally, TypeScript is now the professional standard for writing safer code, and accessibility is a core requirement from day one, not something you tack on at the end. All right, here we go. This is the heart of it. Let's forget those confusing mile-long lists of buzzwords. What follows is a realistic step-by-step path designed for real people with, real lives. Let's walk through it together. So, realistically, how long does this take? Well, you can probably land your first job in about 12 to 18 months, and that's by putting in about 10 to 15 hours a week. But here is the key, the most important part. Consistency is so much more important than speed. This is a marathon, not a sprint. Please don't burn yourself out trying to learn everything in 30 days. The journey starts with the absolute non-negotiable foundations. I'm talking about mastering HTML for structure and modern CSS for styling. Then you have to learn JavaScript, and I mean deeply. This is the language of the web. A strong foundation here is what separates the developers who thrive from the ones who just get stuck. Only after that do you add TypeScript for safety, and then you dive into a framework. Whatever you do not skip these steps. Okay, now we take the leap from just being a hobbyist to becoming a real professional. You absolutely must learn Git for version control. I mean, every single team out there uses it. You need to get the backend basics down to make your apps truly powerful, and you have to know how to deploy your code to the cloud. And finally, integrating AI tools into your workflow, that is the skill that's going to define the next generation of top-tier developers. Okay, let's get practical. This is where so many people get stuck in what I call analysis paralysis. What framework should I learn? What tools do I really need? We're going to make this super simple for you. Look, while there are a bunch of great options out there, the data is pretty clear. If you're in the US or Canada and your main goal is to get a job as quickly as possible, your safest and best bet is React, and specifically with the Next.js framework. It has the most job listings by far, the biggest community, and the most support. And here's your modern toolkit.
No need to overthink it. VS Code is the industry standard editor, period. GitHub Copilot is your AI pair programmer. Vercel and Netlify make deploying your projects incredibly simple. And for styling and databases, Tailwind CSS and PostgreSQL are the go-to choices for modern scalable apps. This is your professional setup, right here.
So, you put in all this hard work. What's the payoff? What do you get at the end? Let's talk about what a career in web development actually looks and feels like in 2026, from the lifestyle all the way to the salary. Let's be real for a second. The pros are fantastic. High salaries, tons of remote work opportunities, and you get to do creative problem solving every day. But it's not without its challenges. The learning curve is steep. The field changes at lightning speed. And yes, imposter syndrome is very, very real. It's a demanding career, for sure, but it's also incredibly rewarding. And that reward is tangible. We're talking about money. In the US, a junior developer can expect to start somewhere around $75,000. That quickly grows to over $112,000 at the mid-level, and senior developers are often pulling in salaries of $170,000 or even more. The financial opportunity here is significant. But numbers on a chart are one thing. Let me tell you a real story. Let's talk about Marcus Thompson. He was 28, working a retail job in Atlanta. One night, after a really long shift, he stumbled on a free coding tutorial online. And something just clicked for him. For the next 18 months, he followed a structured roadmap, just like the one we've been talking about. He didn't go to some expensive boot camp. He just used free and low-cost resources online. He stayed consistent, and he built a portfolio of real projects he could actually show people. After applying to 47 different jobs, he ended up with 3 offers. And the one he took? It came with a starting salary of $118,000. In a year and a half, he completely changed his life. But here's the thing about Marcus's story. It's not some 1 in a million lottery ticket. It's a template. It shows that this path is real, that the tools are accessible to everyone, and that the opportunity is there for anyone with the discipline to follow through.
Which brings us to you. We've laid out the landscape, we've talked about the trends, and we've given you the exact steps to take. The only thing left to do is to begin.
I really want to leave you with this one thought. Nobody is born a senior developer. The only difference between an expert and a beginner is that the expert ran into thousands of problems and they just refused to give up. The most important skill you will ever develop is that relentless, curious problem-solving mindset. So the roadmap is right here in front of you. They say the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. The only question left is, what is the first step you are going to take today?